I don't think most people realize this when they first get into this game, and certainly nobody warns you about it when you open that first brokerage account. But there is a very specific, painful irony at the heart of trading. It is the only profession in the entire world where working harder actually means making less money. We all come into this environment with the same corrupted images burned into our brains. We have seen the Hollywood movies. We have seen the guys in the custom-tailored suits screaming into telephones, the aggressive, frantic mouse clicking, the walls of monitors flashing red and green, and the pure, unadulterated chaos of the trading floor. We are sold a very specific fantasy, that trading is action. We are told that it is a war, a high-speed video game, a place where the fastest, the loudest, the most aggressive, and the most hyperactive people are the ones who win. We are led to believe that if we are not moving, we are losing. That is the single most dangerous lie you will ever be told, and it is the reason why 90% of traders fail within their first 90 days. I want to tell you the truth today, the cold, unvarnished truth that most gurus and course sellers are terrified to tell you because it is boring, and boring doesn't sell subscriptions. The truth is that real, profitable, life-changing trading is incredibly, painfully, excruciatingly boring. If you are sitting at your desk right now and your heart is racing, your palms are sweating, and you feel a rush of dopamine-fueled excitement every time you enter a position, you are in immediate danger. You are not a trader yet, you are an adrenaline junkie. You are a gambler in a suit, and the market is about to take everything from you. I know this phase intimately. I know it because I lived in it for years, and I know the specific type of hell it creates in your mind. I used to believe that if I wasn't in a trade, I was wasting my time. I thought that if the candles were moving and I didn't have a position, I was leaving money on the table. I felt this itch, this physical, vibrating need to be involved in the action. It's a feeling that starts in your chest and moves to your fingers, a compulsion to click, to participate, to predict. Let me tell you a story about a guy from my community named Mike. Mike was an engineer by trade, a brilliant guy, logical, a problem solver, the kind of guy who could fix anything, but he came into trading with what I call the machine gunner mentality. He believed that volume equaled success. He thought that if he fired enough bullets, eventually he would hit the target. He would wake up at 6 a.m., pour a massive pot of coffee, open his charts, and just start shooting. He was scalping the 1-minute chart, buying here, selling there, flipping his bias every 10 minutes based on a single candle. By lunch, Mike would have taken 40 or 50 trades. He looked busy. He felt productive. He was working harder than anyone else I knew. He was sweating. He was stressed. He was glued to the screen. But at the end of the month, when we sat down to review his journal, the reality was brutal. It was heartbreaking. "I don't understand, bro," he told me, his voice shaking, looking completely defeated. "I caught so many good moves. I was right about the direction so many times." And he was right. He had caught great moves. He had predicted the market correctly multiple times. But he had given it all back, and more, during the chop. The commissions were eating him alive. The spread was bleeding him dry. But worst of all was the emotional tax. He was trading not because the market presented a high probability opportunity, but because he needed a dopamine hit. He needed to feel like he was controlling the chaos. He was using the market to self-medicate his need for action, and the market was charging him a very high tuition for that entertainment. My mentor caught me doing this exact same thing early in my career. I remember the day clearly. I had been staring at the screen for 6 hours straight, my eyes burning, forcing trades in a dead, flat market. I was down money, and I was trying to make it back by trading more size and more frequency. My mentor walked over, looked at my screen, looked at me, and then reached over and firmly closed my laptop. He looked me in the eyes and said something that stuck with me for the rest of my life. He said, "You are acting like the market pays you for clicking buttons. It doesn't. The market pays you for how well you can sit on your hands." I didn't get it at the time. I was angry. I was defensive. I wanted to explain my strategy. I wanted to tell him that I needed to make back the loss. But he was right. The need for action is your enemy. The market is designed, literally engineered by the smartest minds and the most powerful algorithms in the world to hypnotize you. The flashing lights, the ticking numbers, the sudden spikes, it is all a casino designed to trigger your primitive fight or flight response. As long as you are seeking action, you are the prey. To survive, you have to kill the machine gunner inside you. You have to become something else entirely. You have to become a sniper. Let's really break down this metaphor, because people use the word sniper to look cool on Instagram, but they don't understand the misery that comes with it. In the movies, being a sniper looks glamorous. In reality, it is a job of extreme patience and discomfort. A real sniper hikes miles into enemy territory and lays down in the mud. He might lie there for 3 days. It rains on him. Bugs bite him. He is hungry, he is thirsty, his muscles cramp. And for 3 days, he does absolutely nothing. He waits. He watches his target through a scope. He checks the wind. He checks the distance. He controls his breathing. And here is the key. If the shot isn't perfect, if the wind is too high, if the angle is wrong, if the target moves behind cover, he doesn't shoot. He doesn't say, well, I walked all this way, I might as well try. He doesn't shoot just to see what happens. He packs up his gear, he crawls back out, and he goes home without firing a single round. Why? Because firing a bad shot gives away his position and gets him killed. Most traders are not snipers. They are guys running into the middle of a battlefield with a blindfold on, firing a shotgun into the air, screaming, hoping they hit a bird before they step on a landmine. When you are in the painful phase of trading, that phase where you know enough to be dangerous but not enough to be profitable, this is usually the biggest hurdle. You are desperate to make money. You might have bills piling up. You might hate your job and see trading as your escape. You feel this immense pressure to perform today, so you force it. You see a chart that looks okay, not great, just okay, and you take it. You see a setup that is a C at best, but you convince yourself it's an A+. Why? Because you can't handle the silence. You can't handle the boredom. I remember a specific week in my journey where the market was just ugly. It was the middle of summer, volume was low, and price was just chopping sideways in a tight range. It was impossible to read. My mentor, seeing that I was getting frustrated, gave me a specific order. Do not trade this week. Watch, but do not touch. It was the hardest thing I'd ever had to do. It felt harder than working a 12-hour shift at a manual labor job. Every day I sat there. I saw little moves. I saw scalps I could have taken. I saw a breakout that failed and thought, I could have shorted that. I felt like a failure because I wasn't earning. I felt like I was being lazy. But at the end of the week, I went into a public chat room where hundreds of other traders hung out. I looked at their stats for the week. They were decimated. They had been chopped to pieces. They had bought the highs and sold the lows. They were angry, tilted, and down 10% or 15% on their accounts. I had made $0. And in that moment, for the first time, I realized that $0 is a massive profit when everyone else is losing. $0 is a winning week when the market is hostile. This is the shift. The sniper knows that survival is the priority. The sniper knows that the market will always be there tomorrow. The setup will come back. The opportunity is infinite. But your capital is finite. If you run out of bullets, money, or if you get taken out, blow your account because you were impatient, you can't take the shot when the perfect target finally walks into your crosshairs. Why is this simple concept so incredibly hard to execute? Why do we self-sabotage? I believe it comes down to a deep biological and psychological addiction to dopamine. We have been conditioned by social media, by video games, by the 24-hour news cycle, to expect instant gratification. We are wired to believe that effort must yield immediate results. There was a woman in my community named Sarah. Sarah was a high achiever. She was extremely intelligent, disciplined in her regular life, went to the gym every day at 5 a.m., ate a strict diet. She was successful in everything she touched. But in front of the charts, she was a mess. She was impulsive. She was erratic. We dug deep into her psychology and we found the root cause. She was terrified of boredom. When the market was slow, she felt anxious. She felt like she wasn't enough. She felt that if she wasn't clicking, she was stagnating. She would tell me, "I feel like if I'm not trading, I'm not a trader." And I told her, "No. If you are trading when there is no trade, you are not a trader. You are a philanthropist. You are donating your money to the professionals. See, the casino wants you to play. The market makers, the institutions, the algorithms, they need your liquidity. They need you to be impatient. They are structured to make you overtrade. They want you to feel that FOMO, fear of missing out. When you see a big green candle explode without you, it hurts physically. Your stomach drops. You feel stupid. You feel slow. You think, everyone else is getting rich except me. So you jump in at the top. You buy the excitement. And that is exactly when the sniper on the other side of the trade, the bank, the institution, the pro, is selling to you. You are buying their exit. You are providing the liquidity for them to cash out. You are paying them for their patience with your impatience. My mentor used to say, boredom is your safety mechanism. If you are bored, it means you are safe. It means you are watching. It means you are in control. The moment you are excited, the moment you are having fun, the moment you feel euphoric, you are likely about to lose money. There is a concept I preach to my students. No trades are as good as B-plus setups. Think about that. Being flat, being in cash, is a position. It is a valid, strategic position. It is a defensive position. It protects your mental capital and your financial capital. When Sarah finally accepted this, when she finally stopped trying to force the market to pay her a salary every day, her trading turned around. She stopped trying to be a hero. She started showing up like a hunter. She learned to sit there for 4 hours, see nothing that met her criteria, close the laptop and say, "Good job. I didn't lose money today. I won the battle against myself." That requires a level of emotional maturity that most people never reach. It requires you to detach your self-worth from your P&L. You have to realize that you are not paid for your time. You are paid for your judgment. You are paid for your discipline. You are paid for your ability to say no. Let's look at the math of the sniper mindset, because people think that trading less means making less. They think volume equals profit. The opposite is true. Let's run the numbers. Imagine trader A, let's call him the machine gunner. He takes 20 trades a week. He is active, he is grinding, he has a 50% win rate, which is decent. But because he is overtrading, his winners are small. He gets scared and takes profit too early. His losers are full size because he holds them hoping they will turn around. After commissions, spread, and swap fees, he is down for the week. He is exhausted, his eyes hurt, his cortisol levels are through the roof, and his confidence is destroyed. He is in that painful phase where he questions if he is even built for this. Now imagine trader B, the sniper. He watches the same market. He sees the same 20 opportunities that trader A took, but he filters them. He looks at one and says, "No, that's against the trend." He looks at another and says, "No, the volume is too low." He looks at a third and says, "No, there is news coming out in 10 minutes, too risky." He says no 19 times. He waits. He waits for the one setup that aligns perfectly with his strategy, the A-plus setup, the clean shot. He takes one trade that week, just one. He risks 1% of his account to make 3%. The trade hits his target, he wins. He ends the week up 3%. He paid one commission fee, he has zero stress. He spent most of the week reading books, going to the gym, or spending time with his family. Who is the better trader? Who is making a living? Trader B made money by doing less. This is the paradox of trading. This is what my mentor meant when he said, "You don't become profitable when you master your strategy. You become profitable when your emotional maturity catches up." The math of trading favors the patient. When you overtrade, you are fighting the law of large numbers. You are exposing yourself to more variance, more slippage, more technical glitches, and most importantly, more opportunities for you to make a stupid emotional mistake. Every time you click that button, you are exposing yourself to risk. The sniper minimizes risk by minimizing exposure. I remember another trader, a guy named Malik. Malik had a pattern that I see in so many struggling traders. Every time he learned something new, a new indicator, a new concept like order blocks or fair value gaps, he would think he found the holy grail. He would go into the market and try to apply it to every single candle. He treated trading like a video game where if you just mash the buttons in the right combo, you get points. He would have a winning streak, feel invincible, and then blow it all up in one afternoon of revenge trading because he refused to accept a loss. He refused to walk away. I told him what I'm telling you. The market is not a video game. It is a biological ecosystem. It is a transfer mechanism that moves money from the impatient to the patient. Malik was the donor. He was donating his hard-earned money to the snipers because he couldn't control his trigger finger. So how do you actually do this? How do you go from an anxious button clicker to a cold, calculated sniper? It is not about willpower. It is about identity. You have to stop identifying as a trader who needs to trade and start identifying as a risk manager whose only job is to protect capital. You need to define your kill zone. A sniper knows exactly what his target looks like. Do you? Most traders have a vague idea. They say, I buy support or I sell when the RSI is high. That's not a strategy. That's a guess. That is gambling. You need to be able to draw your setup on a napkin with absolute precision. You need a checklist. I wait for price to hit a higher time frame key level. I wait for a liquidity sweep of the previous low. I wait for a market structure shift with displacement. And then, and only then, I enter on the retest. If all those things don't happen, you don't shoot. If 3 out of 4 happen, you don't shoot. If it looks pretty good, you don't shoot. If you are bored, you don't shoot. This is called trigger discipline. It is the ability to watch a trade go without you and feel absolutely nothing. To watch the market rally 100 pips and say, it didn't meet my rules, so it wasn't my trade. This is where the painful phase transforms you. This is the crucible. You stop crying about missed moves. You stop comparing your Chapter 2 to someone else's Chapter 10. You stop looking at Instagram traders with their rented Lamborghinis and realize that they are selling a dream, not a reality. You realize that the market is endless. There will always be another bus. There will always be another setup. I remember talking to a guy named Jordan in my group. He was struggling bad, on the verge of quitting. He was doing the revenge trading thing, losing one, getting angry, doubling his lot size to get it back, losing again, and spiraling. I told him to do something weird. I told him to print out a picture of a military sniper lying in the grass covered in camouflage, waiting. I told him to tape it to his monitor. I told him, every time you want to take a trade, look at that picture. Ask yourself, is this an assassination, or am I just spraying bullets into the dark? It sounds silly. It sounds like a gimmick. But it worked. It created a tiny gap, a microsecond pause between the stimulus, seeing the candle move, and the response, clicking the mouse. In that gap, discipline is born. In that gap, you have the choice to step back and say, no. The market is a forest. It is dark, it is dangerous, and it is filled with traps. Most people enter this forest acting like prey. They are loud, they are erratic, they run at every sound, they chase every shiny object. They get eaten. The banks, the algorithms, the hedge funds, they are the apex predators. They are the hunters. They sit still. They wait for the prey to make a mistake. They wait for you to over-leverage. They wait for you to put your stop loss in an obvious place. They wait for you to get emotional. To survive the painful phase and reach the profitable phase, you must change your species. You must evolve from prey to predator. And the defining characteristic of the predator is patience. It is the ability to conserve energy until the moment of the strike. It is not glamorous. You won't have cool stories to tell at parties about how you made 50 trades today. People will ask, how was the market? And you will say, I don't know. I didn't see my setup, so I went for a walk. That is the answer of a professional. That is the answer of someone who treats this as a business, not a slot machine. My mentor told me, you are not battling the market. You are battling yourself. The chart is just a mirror. It reflects your internal state back at you. If you are impatient, the chart will show you your impatience in the form of losses. If you are greedy, the chart will show you your greed. If you are fearful, the chart will show you your fear. But if you are disciplined, if you are a sniper, the chart will eventually bow to you. It is time to stop looking for excitement. It is time to stop looking for the fun phase. The fun phase is for amateurs. Embrace the boredom. Embrace the silence. Learn to love the feeling of doing nothing. Lie in the mud. Wait for your shot. Because in this game, the person who can wait the longest is the one who gets paid the most. You are right on schedule. You are not broken. You are just learning how to stop shooting and start hunting. The painful phase is simply the training ground where the machine gunner dies and the sniper is born. So, let the machine gunner die. Take a breath, wait, and when the moment is perfect, and only then, take the shot.